Avalon Rare Metals is involved in the exploration and development of most of the metals that I'm going to touch on today. Of course, we're all conversant with lithium. There are others, and those I would like to speak about. Avalon takes a great measure of pride in its good work, having just won an award for what we call E3, Excellence, Exploration, and the Environment. But enough said about that. The electric car is coming. This is really a hybrid. It's a Lotus in a different garment. And this is a lithium battery that's used in the Tesla automobile. To give you some idea of the scale, you'll see a handprint on the right-hand middle corner of that battery. Price estimates range from perhaps $5,000 to as much as $30,000 for a battery. But this map, global map, shows the present production of lithium carbonate in the world. You'll see a touch produced in the United States. You'll see more than 80% of it produced between Chile and Argentina. There is production in China. It's produced from feedstocks mined in Australia. That mine is presently shut down. In this slide, I'm showing you the application of the rare earth elements, rare earth metals, in magnets in a Japanese car, a Nissan. The application shown here is simply in electric motors. It doesn't account for rare earth elements that are incorporated into the glass, for example, to cut down or give you UV protection, or even that the lanthanides or rare earth elements were used to make the jeweler's rouge to polish the window and lighting glass in the car. There's your source, 98% or perhaps even more of your rare earth element production in the world. One very large deposit in China producing light rare earths, and several smaller pits in southern China producing what we call heavy rare earths. Both are critical to the electric car. Tantalum is another rare metal. It's largely used in capacitors, or what Brits might call condensers, accumulators, no, condensers. Tantalum has the highest dielectric capacity of all of the known metals. Hence, it's used for RC circuits and allows the miniaturization that goes along with your chip technologies. The capacitor you read about in an electric car would probably be what we call a wet electrolytic and much more voluminous in size. The tantalum gives you the allows you the miniaturization for all of your onboard electronics. World tantalum production, nominally, when everything is good, about 15% of it comes from Brazil. At the present time, almost 30% is coming from Brazil. The major producers in Manitoba and Australia are shut down. They've ceased production due to low prices. The Abu Dhabi deposit in Egypt is in some metallurgical straits, if nothing else, and there is no production coming from there. Tantalum is largely being made up with the so-called coltan, which you read about, or blood tantalum coming out of Africa, out of the Congo and Nigeria. The Tantalum Information Center, Tantalum Producers Association, is trying to rectify that. But moving along with our electric car and battery capabilities, range capabilities, we can try adding a little solar. On this map, I'm showing you the world mine, the primary mine production of gallium, indium, germanium, selenium, tellurium. These are all the more exotic, or what I call the electronic metals, that go into all of the onboard electronics, from displays to fuel mileage processing, in your car. So where does it come from? And I couldn't resist throwing in the smokestack. This is somewhat problematic as we are shutting down smelters all around the world presently. You're going to dry up the sources of these so-called electronic metals. I'm not sure what the alternative for acquiring them is. And nobody is going to permit a new smelter. It would take you 50 years to get the environmental permitting to do that. A point of interest is we need tellurium. One of our large solar companies has done a $2 billion deal in China on solar materials. They cannot find tellurium to accomplish the deal with. It is a smokestack metal. Well, miners usually rise to the occasion and supply where we see a deficit. That's not easy. There are many things that we have to consider right from the marketplace before you even send a prospector out into the field. There's financing, political climate. We're seeing examples of that in Bolivia, and Bolivia is a potential source of lithium, for example. Geography becomes a factor where you use solar evaporation to produce lithium. Geology, of course, is perhaps the first thing you should consider. Environmental sensitivity, indigenous peoples are a very important key going forward. All of that combines and merges into the permitting process. And the permitting process is what won't allow us to give you these metals for anywhere from 5 years, expanding existing capacities, to upwards of, most recently I've seen a 14-year number to permit a cobalt deposit in Idaho. That cobalt is still a vital component for the electric car in the form of the cobalt samarium magnet. The success rate from discovery of a deposit to production is not very good. However, I don't want to leave you on a sour note. These red dots all represent potential lithium producers in the world. The resources are out there. We need the lead time to develop them. Some of that can come along on stream very quickly, permitting being the simple and longest time consumption involved. This is my car for now. It's a 1947 Nissan. I'm just ending on this note because most of these metals are available presently. But if you look closely at this, you'll see that the under tray underneath that suicide door is probably lead acid batteries. And if you're wondering about the peculiar grill in front, it's obviously in front of a radiator cooling the internal combustion engine driving it. I'm not sure we've progressed much in the past 50 or 60 years, but we're working on it. Thank you, sir.